Boy, all right. There is a lot to unpack here. There is a lot to go over, and I'm going to try and keep this video in a decent amount of time so it gets the most views out of it. Because this information and this topic should be going around, and everybody should actually be kind of considering where they watch or consume their content, but also the content creators out there really should be looking at where they post their content too, because I don't know if it's Google so much, but at least the YouTube offices, legal teams, all that stuff, they are, I mean, they're going to make it impossible for anybody to actually post on the platform. So basically your content creators that made YouTube as a platform itself, there's a lot of people that have big audiences that are trying to just either call something out, as you can see over here with that video post, or like make a video just celebrating music or something. There's a couple different topics we got to go into with this one.
If they don't have it, they come here.
These CPUs are assembled in China, so they apparently, I guess, they have spare.
And they buy it from these warehouses, which are on the upper floors of the building. They just have a carton. There's like probably a dozen tall, and about the same.
So I've been talking about this for a few years now, of the Chinese kind of black market, as Gamers Nexus Steve over here is calling it, but the knockoff market and everything. This is definitely something that everybody should be keeping an eye on, and definitely watch out. Like if you're on Amazon or if you're on eBay or Facebook Marketplace or something, like make sure and watch out for this.
Deep.
There's not cluster. Yep, as I said, they're being they're quite well utilized.
One of them sent me this price sheet.
We're multiple administrations deep in a technological Cold War over processing power between the United States and China. China's Cyberspace Administration has labeled some U.S. graphics processing products as a security risk, seeking answers about U.S. government backdoors in silicon. Meanwhile, the United States has imposed heavy restrictions on exports of graphics processing units, or GPUs, being sold to Chinese companies by American companies. The sale requires rarely granted licenses for each import scenario to legally export GPUs above a certain performance level, with the stated objective being to restrict progress of private and government projects, including AI development in China, while trying to maintain the US's AI leadership. The United States takes this so seriously that just this week, the Department of Justice had 2 Chinese nationals arrested in California for what it alleges is the smuggling of tens of millions of dollars worth of GPUs.
So when you're wondering what is Trump doing, what is Trump's, the administration and everything doing? Well, they're actually trying to stop the black markets, basically the black market of graphics cards, GPUs, chips, whichever word you want to say to end up, saying that they're trying to stop the knockoffs from getting into the U.S. And that's the whole reason why Trump is, he's using the tariffs deals to try and get, NVIDIA to invest. Jensen bring over $500 billion. Who knows? It could even be more in the future of development and manufacturing over to the U.S. If you don't want tariffs on your product, manufacture it in the U.S. That is the bottom line rule of the whole thing. As soon as a company invests in the U.S. and actually makes the legitimate product and not have Chinese knockoffs in the U.S., then there's, the tariff goes away. It's as simple and easy as that. Why anybody would want to fight that, I have no idea, but, news and everything else. But that's the reason why it's so important to make a video like this. So that was the original video. It's 3.5 hours long. Some very good information right off the jump. Tech Fusion posted this, reposted the video up right now. So it's not Gamers Nexus. They have a whole other video over here of them going through and actually talking with Bloomberg that did a copyright strike towards the video because of it's Bloomberg. Now, this is a whole other issue. So we have the black market issue that got brought up. Bloomberg was trying to do a news coverage on it and everything. Bloomberg got mad, so they copyright striked. And this is the main issue of the whole thing, is a copyright strike system. So this is for creators and really anybody consuming content on YouTube, this should really raise a lot of alarms because of the fact that basically the DMCA copyright strike thing, as you know, we've been talking about this for years, it is once again being weaponized against content creators.
Well, clearly we struck a nerve. Go figure that when you cover crime, corruption, and money, it upsets people who like money. This is Bloomberg. Bloomberg likes money. I came out here at 5 a.m. this morning to make sure, and it sure seems like they have a lot of it. Bloomberg filed an illegitimate and invalid copyright strike against our 3.5-hour-long movie about the AI GPU black market earlier this week, and our attorneys have prepared a response, but it's written in legalese, and I thought it might be better to explain our response to Bloomberg to our audience by using a more universal language.
So this is Steve from Gamers Nexus. He is kind of outspoken. He's also very opinionated. I don't always agree with his opinions, but he is bringing up a similar point that actually other types of YouTubers that are in the music industry are bringing up. And my brain is thinking ahead, how long before all of us that do gaming content, so if you have a cutscene from a game in your video, you know, you're doing a playthrough or a walkthrough or something, and all of a sudden the publisher goes, we want all the money from the playthroughs. You know, we already get that happening as is on certain videos, especially if say you're doing a legitimate criticism of maybe Microsoft or something and how they keep shutting down studios. Microsoft comes in and says, hey, we own the license rights to all, or they go to say IGN, maybe take an IGN video, put it into your video, 30 seconds of it. Well, no, copyright claim, your video gets taken down. This is a major slippery slope that we're going into of YouTube not being able to have creators. You're going to have companies with media teams, I would say, because we already have that as is. You know, the companies, whether it's a developer studio making, you know, game trailers or whatever, or it's a publisher hiring a third party to make a documentary on something, and all of a sudden they want their documentary to have more views than somebody doing a retrospect over here. Now all of a sudden your retrospect gets taken down because you use, you know, 30 seconds of gameplay in your video to showcase what the game is. It's the same thing as the music industry.
The general increase in aggression by Universal is not only something that I'm noticing, but the volume at which they are filing these claims.
Okay, so UMG Music Group are filing a bunch of claims to try and get videos taken down because they own the license right to songs, even though music YouTubers are using fair use to pretty much, you know, make a educational video. So here's how the song breaks down, or in the case of like Professor Rock, he's telling, you know, stories of the and also sharing past stories from his life in alongside the making of the songs and everything. But UMG is doing this
on channels that are, again, reaction channels, educational channels. And I don't know if what they're trying to do is to get everyone to just stop reacting to songs that Universal owns, or maybe it's going to become just so unbelievably difficult for these YouTubers to be able to run their channels that they're going to cave and just let Universal collect the monetization, regardless of the fact that it's not entitled to under the law. Or maybe Universal's just going to turn around and say, you know what? You should just get a license from us.
Now, when she said that, I'm like, okay, now that goes into another point over here.
Hi, good afternoon. Hi. Bloomberg Security.
By 12 p.m., we saw our copyright counterclaim was approved by YouTube. 1 p.m., Bloomberg told us we have to ask them permission anytime we show Bloomberg, and then admitted to us that Bloomberg retroactively changes its content after publishing, which is very interesting for a whole new host of reasons that we'll save for the future. Around 3 p.m., Bloomberg told our attorneys that they'd be happy to release the strike if we pay them a licensing fee in what felt to us like a shakedown. It's interesting to...
So once again, this licensing fee. So you want to use any content that is, and I mean, what's it to say that the gaming companies wouldn't do this? What's it to say that the music industry, I mean, they're already doing this. You want to use Okay, so you want to be a DJ on Twitch. So what do? Dan Clancy's already talked about this. Twitch owns basically license rights for live music to be able to be played on their platform if you're a DJ, specifically in a DJ setting. I just did a music stream yesterday. I got one muted audio, which is basically a DMCA, the system flagging that I played a Guns N' Roses song. Boom, that got muted. Everything else was fine though. So on Twitch, for the most part, if you play music on Twitch, you might have a couple songs here and there get hits, but you can pretty much get away with doing anything. It is a live platform though, and that's a big difference between YouTube and Twitch. Is YouTube, anything that is pre-recorded has a different rule set versus live content. And I've heard this be talked about between whether it's YouTube developers, I guess, or it's the people who run Twitch, especially the legal departments. They all say the same thing. Like live content, you can kind of get away with a lot more stuff because it's live. Pre-recorded, there's always a system in place to flag everything. So when it comes down to license rights and licensing, if you're doing something transformative, that's fair use. Underneath any which way you go, underneath the law, it is fair use. So we can actually look it up right here. I tried to actually Google this. I never use Google. I tried to use Google for once, and it was like, are you human, and all that stuff. As soon as I typed it in, it literally would not let me Google it. And Google owns YouTube. That's why I was actually, you know what? I want to see what Google has to say, since that's the owners of YouTube. You can't even do it. So content licensing and fair use are two distinctive legal concepts that govern the use of copyrighted materials. Content licensing involves agreements between copyright holders and licensees, which may include fair use provisions. Fair use is a legal doctrine that allows limited use of copyrighted materials without permission under specific circumstances such as criticism, commentary, or education. I can't highlight it, but it's right here. So, and this is Aaron Hall, attorney for business owners, plus 3 other sources: government facts, University of New Hampshire, such. So, underneath fair use, as Rick Vial was saying, it is kind of ridiculous. As also, the other one was saying too, that's music, this is tech. Well, it's the same thing though. It's the same principle. It's the same rule set.
A few weeks ago when I made the video, I was talking about the Professor of Rock.
So Professor Rock, he is, again, as I said, he shares, stories and everything. You can't really share a story about a song if you can't play the song. So,
and his challenges with copyright, content ID claims, threats to strike your channel and take it down, things like that. And it continues to happen. And I've hired a lawyer full time because it's a full-time job. I've had probably 4,000 claims over the last 9 years from things that are fair use, where I'm discussing songs. I'm doing interviews with people where I'm playing the music that they either wrote and recorded or they produced. I finally broke with this. At first I was like, okay, forget about it. I won't do it. And then I did a Rick Rubin interview and it had 13 copyright claims in the video. That's when I hired a lawyer to fight these. And what he's done is he fought every single claim. And there's many of my interviews, which are all fair use, that have multiple songs in them.
So again, what's to say that any one of these news sources also, say you're talking about politics and whatnot, and then, a Bloomberg comes in and says, oh, you use, or a Fox News or a, what's the other one? CNN, any one of these channels where you maybe watch an interview on it, even other, like what would you say? The non-TV news channels. So if it's a news network that is, left wing or something else, and you use a clip of a Democrat's nominee or something, all of a sudden they come in, they go, nope, can't use that. So again, it's a very slippery slope of being able to use video clips and such and in a fair use situation. All right, so one more thing. The closest thing that they got to talking with Bloomberg, Gamers Nexus, I'm going to switch back over to here in the tech world. This is the closest thing they got to actually talking to the news source.
I'm curious to see what they'll do.
After what felt like an eternity, the lawyers sent security down. Again, no surprise.
Hi, good afternoon.
Hi.
Hi. Bloomberg Security.
Okay, and are you able to see if they're able to slot us
I
in?
will. I'll give them a call.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
Security clearly was given their side of the story, and we recognize he probably doesn't get paid enough to deal with this shit, so we kept everything polite while explaining our side and just asked if he could try to make contact with them.
Okay, John.
So, I don't know all the business you're related into, but apparently you posted some kind of video that has some Bloomberg content in it.
I think so.
Yeah, and they listen, they have no issue. You seem like nice guys. And everything like that. But
I get it, you're doing your job.
All they ask is that whatever's out there, stuff like that, please don't bring Bloomberg into your business. That's all.
But they're the ones who brought us into their business.
How's that?
Because they filed a copyright strike on us. The point of saying it is, it's not I'm bringing Bloomberg into my business. It's actually the other way around from our perspective.
Yeah.
But I understand you're doing your job. So
Yeah.
I get it. Yeah.
Yeah, and unfortunately, they're not gonna meet with you.
I get it. Yeah.
Yeah.
We figured we'd try.
Yeah,
so.
and unfortunately, sorry to drag
Yeah.
you down here.
That's
You seem
all
like
right.
Nice guys.
That's
and
all right.
everything. But I wish you luck with your venture.
I appreciate
Yeah.
that. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for understanding.
Well, no, I appreciate you
appreciate it.
being cool with us.
Okay.
So, yeah.
All right, gentlemen. Have a
Take it
great
easy.
weekend.
You too.
Of course, the answer was expected.
Security guy's not involved in this. He's just some guy. I'm sure he gets paid a fraction of what the assholes who filed that claim get paid. Like a fraction of what those assholes get paid. So it's not his fight.
What it looks like to me is that if Google and YouTube are going to cave in and just dismiss fair use, I mean, I've had my fair share of claims also. These are all copyright stricken videos. If I come down here, there's 50 videos per page. I got 593 pages of just copyright. Not strikes. These are just restrictions. Normally it is just, it'll come up and say, video cannot be watched in Russia. 9 times out of 10, it's like Bulgaria, Russia, something like that. And yeah. But again, it's like, what if you are doing a playthrough of a game and you have the final cutscene in the game, and all of a sudden, say, I don't know, Sony goes, nope, you can't have that. Well, there goes your video. It's either that or your channel gets a strike. 3 strikes, your channel's deleted. It's terminated. It's gone. Another thing too is, say you're doing coverage of a gaming event, and I deal with this all the time actually, is like the trailer will play. That's the reason why I've actually had to put this border on I used to have it like full screen and just have me on the green screen. You could see the gameplay full screen and everything. I can't do that anymore because of the YouTube copyright system. I've had to slightly change things up. It's kind of annoying having the border on here, but it's the only way that the AI system or whatever the DMCA strike system is, if it sees that there's other images on the screen outside of just the trailer, then it doesn't affect you at all. So it's just a crazy thing that YouTube was built on the backs of creators, and it seems like though the same creators that built YouTube is kind of stabbing everybody in the back. They are throwing away their best assets at building YouTube, which is the people who have passion, who have the want and the I guess you could also say the need to make these videos, because a lot of people, they get paid off from YouTube. They monetize everything that they put up onto YouTube, and a lot of that cash is getting stripped away from these creators, whether it's in the music industry, trying to push also. One other thing that I almost forgot to say is, what happens if you're into politics and, part of gaming is ESRB ratings boards, and the reason why they made the ESRB ratings board is because of politicians getting in everybody's stuff over everything. So, what happens when government officials, say a Democrat, official, maybe even a Republican official, running for president or something, goes, "Hey, video games are too violent. We can't have those anymore. How many times have we seen that already over the years? And yes, ESRB ratings board is there to stop anything from happening. But what happens if we start having DMCA claim takedowns on the, around, a rating or something like that, because they don't agree with the ESRB. So they're going to work with these companies, pay them $1 million, $10 million, whatever, to the PR team or the legal team to be like, hey, can you guys DMCA these videos? And then there you go. Again, and then as I said earlier, you already have some publishers willing to pay third-party content creators, even like sometimes even a Digital Foundry or a No Clip, they get hired to make a documentary. Again, what's to say that in gaming, all the retrospects don't just get wiped out because they are using a cutscene from a game? This can go very wrong for YouTube, and it really sucks seeing it happening for especially music and tech. I mean, especially music, because the music industry is in a very bad spot right now. It's just like between the AI stuff, people liking older music, the newer artists not really, it's like you have a room full of writers. The music artist just comes in as basically just the visual of it, and some of them are even lip syncing and stuff now. It's crazy. It's crazy in the music industry. And the tech industry is getting pretty damn crazy also, just on that fact that, you have a website like a Bloomberg. I mean, who's to say like a Fox News or something, anything that is owned by a company that has a news channel. What's to say that those news channels don't just try and soak up everyone else's ad? They already try and do a copyright claim on stuff, not to strike the channel, but just a copyright claim. And that's essentially the claim of it. The DMCA claim of it is what people are kind of fighting back against, because the claim usually turns into a strike. 3 strikes, your channel's gone. And if your channel's gone, then that means that these other companies can move in to, we're the only game in town now. Hey, we get all the ad rev. I hate seeing it happen, but so how do we fix this? The one thing that I've definitely noticed is that, like, the X platform, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, whichever way you want to call it. The one thing I've noticed is that you don't really have DMCA takedowns of anything. You have community notes that can make people delete stuff. And the community notes, it can be gamed also. Sometimes it can keep people honest. It can be gamed. But when it comes to putting up long form content, so imagine if somebody put up a retrospect over onto Twitter. Let's just say Twitter, because most people are still love to call it Twitter. But say somebody puts up a retrospect over onto Twitter, and basically, it gets 10 million views on it or something. That could actually potentially be more viewership, and you can monetize it without having to worry so much about all this copyright claim stuff happening. And then there's also, the amount of words you have to censor out, even if you're just talking about a topic on YouTube. It's ridiculous. It is crazy the amount of words that, like, they're starting to kind of pull back on that, but then we have this copyright claim stuff happening right afterwards. So it's like, what is the win situation with YouTube? And that's actually one of the things, again, Twitch is for live stuff. I think Twitch is not bad either. Like, you can watch a lot of video footage stuff. Video footage stuff? Yeah, well, video footage stuff and do reacts on there all day long. And you're not going to have like, you can't stream for 30 days now. I've actually had that happen. I was playing a WWE game, and the WWE department came in and basically copyright striked my stream right then and there. And I was actually in the game mode. That is in the game. That is, and it had live video footage from WWE, and boom, I can't stream for 30 days. It's like, what? And my channel had a copyright strike. And then I had to go through a whole 12-step process just to actually get that copyright strike. So it was literally, I had to go through, I think it was like at least a 5 to 6 step process of bad, you can't do that. Then I had to wait, I think it was almost 90 days for that copyright strike to go off. And then I could finally stream again on YouTube. It was crazy. That's the reason why I actually stopped streaming on YouTube also, because if I want to listen to music on stream, you can't do that on YouTube. It just instantly, you get the email messages just start rolling in of copyright. So, the biggest takeaway from all this stuff, and again, I'm trying to keep this video kind of short, is I think Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, I think that would be a great alternative to YouTube. We just need to clean it up a little bit because there's a lot of trolls and there's a good amount of bots on there. It's kind of the same thing as your comment section though on YouTube. If you've dealt with it on YouTube, it's the same shit over on Twitter. But I think that would be, because in all honesty, not everybody also watches Twitter, but majority of a lot of the internet is on, not everybody watches YouTube. Some people watch Rumble, some people only watch Twitch or Kick or whatever. But majority of everybody that is into any kind of form of content is usually over on Twitter, so they can talk about stuff. So why not bring the content that you're getting in trouble for making on YouTube? Why not bring that over to Twitter, and then you're in the same base that everybody's already talking about? I mean, it could be the instant feedback. People don't really want that, but then again, you can just, you can kind of block comments on videos, or that could just be a feature of it too, is that when you upload a video that is 20 minutes or longer, comments just automatically get, turned off. Or that could just become, the thing to do over on Twitter. If you do upload, you start doing like daily uploads of videos onto Twitter. Now, Elon's already kind of gone into and talked about wanting to set up a system like that. And we already have videos all the time of, 10, 15 minutes on the platform. And that's kind of everybody's attention span too, is like even this video is running long for people to actually check out and want to watch to the end. So, again, let's make a push over to Twitter maybe. And, if YouTube wants to start doing this stuff where it's a slippery slope of fair use and free speech and fair and copyright usage and copyright strikes and everything, we don't need YouTube. We can actually go to the other platform real easy. And in all honesty, it might even be more worldwide viewership, because that's the one thing that has already been time tested. There's a lot of times you post something on Twitter and it gets way more views. Now, the other thing is too, is a lot of people will say it's not real views over on Twitter because it's like pass by views and whatnot. It could be the case, but if something starts getting talked about and goes viral over on Twitter, what usually happens? The viewership triples. It's the same thing, and it's always like a link to a YouTube video, and then that YouTube video blows up. So instead of the platform that is basically shooting you in the foot, why not just upload that to the platform that's actually helping you promote it in the first place? That just makes sense. So anyways, I'm going to wrap this up. Hopefully there was some information that if you haven't heard about any of this stuff, you get informed a little bit. And yeah,